is there's two categories of Krishna's presence. The Sanskrit terminology we heard before was nama and nami, the name and the object named. And that was taken from a Padma Purana verse. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashuddho Nityamukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. There's a relationship of non-difference or abhina between the name and the object named. So this song is taking another pair, vacha and vachaka, and it's similar. It's Krishna's form, and the person who's being described, the object named, so to speak. So these are two complete presentations of Krishna in this world. And between the two, one is more merciful. Which, if they're all equal, how can one be more merciful? But the fullness of the mercy of the name is greater. The fullness of the mercy of Krishna is within Krishna. The fullness of the mercy of Krishna in his name is even greater. It's accessible to people of this world. That's the mercy factor. And so the prayer is to that feature of Krishna, to his name. That's the song. So we'll sing the song responsively.
Svarup tomar vacha kadui Svarup tomar vacha kadui Svarup tomar Vachya tava Shri Vigraha Chidanandaka Vachaka Svarup Tava Shri Krishna Dinam Varnarupi Sarva Jiva Ananda Vishram He dui Svarupe Tava Ananta Prakash Doya kori deya jive tomara vilas Kintu janiya chena माता वाचका स्वरूप वाच्यापेक्षा दोयामय हे अपरूप नाम नामी वेदा नाही वेदेरा वचन तबु नाम नामी होते अधिका करू कृष्णे अपराधी जदि नामे श्रद्धा कोरी प्राण भोरी डाके नाम राम कृष्ण हरि राम कृष्ण हरे हरे राम कृष्ण हरे राम कृष्ण हरे हरे राम कृष्ण हरे अपराध दूरे जाय आनंद सागरे वासे से अनायासे रसेरा पठारे विग्रह स्वरूप वाचे अपराध कोरी शुद्ध नामाश्रये से अपराधे तोरी भक्ति विनोदा मागे शिरूप चरणे
I'll read the translation. Because I want to go slowly. As mentioned, there's these two forms. It's right in the song as well, nama and nami, or vacha and vachaka. Here's the first stanza. O Lord, you possess two transcendental forms, properly called vacha, that which is name-able, and vachaka, that which it denotes. The vacha is your beautiful personal bodily form, full of transcendental knowledge and bliss. Nice image, Krishna seeing his reflection in Dwaraka and becoming attracted by the beauty of the reflection because he's all beautiful. The vachaka forms are your holy names, such as Sri Krishna, and so forth, thus appearing in the form of transcendental sound vibration. You are the resting place for the bliss of all souls. We'll refer again to this morning's song, Song 2, but the presence of Krishna comes in the form of these syllables, the syllables of his name. That his form is the syllables of his name. The nami comes that way. Your unlimited manifestations are found in these two forms: taking pity, being very kind to confer upon the fallen souls entrance into your divine pastimes, then comparing. But of these two forms of yours, O Lord, I have understood your vachaka form to be even more merciful than your vacha form. Thus do I find your holy name most wonderful. It is the declaration of the Vedas that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are non-different, yet still the holy name is more merciful than the Lord himself. If one is an offender to Lord Krishna personally, but has genuine faith in the holy name and calls out with all his heart and soul, Rama, Krishna, Hari, then all his offenses are cast far away. And he floats without difficulty in the ocean of divine bliss and transcendental mellows. So the message here is, and we'll hear it again several times, but removing the obstacle of offense is not something we can do on our own. We heard, it's already, now we're hearing it again. It's the name who can remove the obstacle of offense. Because Rupa Goswami teaches and Jiva Goswami teaches, what's the result of offense? It's anarthas. Anarthas arise from offense. And once there's anarthas in the heart, it's easier to remove from the heart the reaction of sin than the reaction of offense. The reaction of sin is dismissed immediately by the chanting of the holy name, or by devotional service, or by transcendental knowledge. The reaction of previous sin is removed. But when you make offense to the name, anarthas arise, not just sin. And they're more stubborn, they're more pernicious, they're more difficult to remove. So what does it is the holy name. The greater mercy from the Vachaka form is, the Vachaka form kindly removes the result of offense, that which blocks our relationship with Krishna. A person may commit offenses to the Vacha or the transcendental figure of the Lord, but if he is under the shelter of the pure holy name, he crosses over all those offenses. It's a science and a mystery. At the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, Bhaktivinoda begs for constant loving attachment to the Vachaka or divine holy name of the Supreme Lord. So the topic we're discussing is this one, experiencing the form of the name. Now, the form of the name is the sound, vibration, right within the song. Before I go further, it may be helpful to a little review of what we covered at midday, the 11:11:47 and its purport. There were four primary parts to that: chanting carefully, because Rupa Goswami in his verse, we're going to recite it again, this text 7 of Upadeshamrita, but chanting carefully is the remedy for the jaundice of avidya, the disease that doesn't taste the sweetness of the name. We spoke about the importance, four things: the importance of prayer, or being properly situated in a relationship with the deliverer of the name, ultimately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what's the special feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because the name was present previously, he gave the instruction. He gave the instruction to Haridas and Lord Nityananda. Encourage people to chant. Please chant the holy name. Wherever he went when he was traveling in South India, chant the holy name. Our way of saying it is Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Prabhu. We're just conventional. Hari Bol, Prabhu. So that Hari Bol means chant. So where does the Hari Bol come from? It comes from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the order to chant was given. There's special potency for the one who receives that order and the name, and disciplic succession similarly. When at least it used to be the practice, when we had invitations to the temple, please chant and be happy. Chant and make your life sublime. Chant and free your life from material distress. We've been discussing these things. But it does far more than liberation from material distress, or far more than reactions to sins. But initially, chant and be happy. So the instruction to chant, so the making strong the connection with the deliverer. And with that comes the message of Sharanagati, respect, and offering respect by submission to the deliverer, to submission to the name and submission to the deliverer of the name. Another message was keeping ourselves fit for devotional service, and keeping ourselves fit for devotional service, we heard, was taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and the deliverer of the name. The luminous lotus feet within our heart illuminates the heart, and transcendental knowledge awakens. We heard about attentiveness and attentiveness being almost synonymous with chanting carefully. And we heard about enthusiasm. So now we're hearing about the form of the name. And I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but we're inviting you to think about it. Experiencing the form of the name is the sound. We heard from this morning's song, the absolute truth, Krishna, possesses an eternal form, and the eternal form of sacred syllables. We saw this image. We're not used to the realm of transcendence. We're used to the reflection of the realm of transcendence. And that's this material world. The banyan tree from Bhagavad Gita, where the reflection on the lake, the trees on the other side, where the branches are up and the roots are down. And then the reflection is the roots are up and the branches are down. That's what we're used to, the reflection. And then the Shuddha Nam is the full holy name. And the prayer of Rupa Goswami, this one that we've been saying, or I guess teaching of Rupa Goswami, is this text number 7. Tad Gada Mula Hantri at the end. Let us say it again. It's a nice saying it again and say it again. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Setapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikano Kintwadarad Anudinam Kalusaiva Jushta Svad Vikramad Bhavati Tad Karamula Hantri. Translation: the holy name, character, pastimes and activities of Krishna are all transcendentally sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya or ignorance cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So our focus is on this, the root of his disease. And the root of the disease is ignorance, and the root of the disease is offense. We have our teaching, when we're engaged in chanting of the holy name, the 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy name. And we know that amongst those 10 offenses, that's the tree at the top, that's the offenses, there's the root of the tree of offense. And according to our acharyas, inattentiveness is the root cause of all offenses. We can just address this one. The potential at least is there to address all the other offenses effectively. However, the mind is distracted. And we all have abundant experience of the art of distractedness. We're very artistic at the variegated ways that we're artistically distracted. So how to go from distracted, we've been discussing. We discussed the mood of service. We discussed prayer to the deliverer of the name, Lord Chaitanya, prayer to the name, in the mood of service. He's the master, we're the servant, and the very kind master. One who has seriously made an attempt to chant without distraction. Some of us have. And the realization is we can't. Well, alone we can't, but we require the mind being conquered by the name and the merciful nature of, this song by Bhakti Vinod is the Vachaka feature. It has that, displays that mercy. The potency is there in the name for the distractedness to be overcome. We have to show a desire, we have to make some endeavor with intelligence, as we discussed this morning. Utsaha, or enthusiasm, is endeavor with intelligence. And Krishna gives the intelligence. We're hooked up to Krishna if we're Krishna conscious. Buddhi is given to those who really want to be with Krishna. The weakness is on our side. The wanting to be with Krishna, the intention. The song that we just sang, if one is an offender to Lord Krishna personally, but has genuine faith in the holy name and calls out with all his heart and soul, Rama, Krishna, Hari, then all his offenses are cast far away. It's like, how does that happen? So the root is offense, and the root of offense is inattention. So from our side, we strive feelingly, if we want that association of Krishna genuinely, we want to be in our relationship with Krishna genuinely. We call to the name, the syllables, and it's taken care of. Very similar to the Bhagavad Gita verse, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. Unto those who are constantly devoted to me, I provide what they lack and preserve what they have. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. This is in the form of the name. Same. The same idea is expressed. Now we'll just refer you to our handout little booklet. Somewhere here. Yeah. Page 14. There's a series of verses spoken by Haridas Thakur. The image here is Haridas speaking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As we know, Haridas is the Acharya, Namacharya, for the chanting of the holy name. So he's teaching how to, and the how to, well, I'll read the whole thing, it's very nice. He's revealing his heart. And he's speaking about this inattentiveness in these verses. I always take care not to neglect completing the number of names to be chanted according to my vow. I see to this regularly again and again. It's not just duty, it's love. I chant the holy names with great attention, free from the offense of inattentiveness. I engage in bhajan, giving up the ambition to simply increase my numbers. I constantly chant the holy name in the awareness that I do so by your mercy. Please be merciful to me, O Lord, so that the offense of inattention in chanting never blocks my ability to relish the rasa of the holy name. nama rasa. I should spend a little time alone in a quiet place and practice concentrating deeply on the holy name. Therefore, I pray constantly at your lotus feet to be able to always utter each name distinctly and to experience emotion when meditating on them. And then the outlined one that's on the screen here. Simply by one's own effort, no one in this material world can overcome inattention. Such a victory can only come by your merciful blessings. I take great care to beg for your mercy, my heart overcome with emotion, knowing that you are all merciful and will always be generous with your blessings. If I make no effort to attain your mercy, O Sachinandana, then I will remain unfortunate. There's something from our side, something from the name, and something from the deliverer of the name. That's the picture. That this song and scriptures and Bhaktivinoda Thakur are teaching us. One of my most favorite verses is from Rupa Goswami. Those of you that have a little familiar with Chaitanya Charitamrita know that Rupa Goswami, great acharya, among his writings was 2 dramas. A drama of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes outside of Vrindavan, and there's an introductory verse that's a glorification of the holy name. And it has these 4 parts. And it's a nice meditation. I regularly meditate while chanting on first the making of the sound, and then the hearing of the sound, and then the sound enters the courtyard of the heart. In sequence. You have to make the sound before you can hear the sound. You hear the sound properly, it goes into the courtyard of the heart, and the mind becomes stunned and the senses become inert. These for Rupa Goswami. It's poetic, but it's not just poetry. It's when one is chanting properly or effectively, receiving the holy name in fullness, the mind is conquered. I do not know how much nectar the 2 syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert, otherwise known as samadhi. But when one is in samadhi, a chanting doesn't stop, chanting starts. Chanting Shuddhanam. The mind is stunned. Now, deliberately this is a shorter class so that we can have time for the Nama Yajna, because the Nama Yajna is an opportunity, along with the Sangha group activities, to internalize things that we've been hearing. So is Nama Yajna. It's an opportunity to enter into the holy name, where we're experiencing the holy name in a different way because we're doing the things that are being described. This session is experiencing the form of the name. And we heard there's the main difficulty in doing that is offense. And of the offenses, the root is inattention. So there's two. From that root, that inattention, there are some obstacles. That's the mind that's not controlled, and the unwillingness or reluctance to surrender, because just like the question this afternoon, we want our autonomy. we want independence from Krishna. Too much. We want independence from Krishna. And that's why we come to this material world. It's why we get a material body. It's why we struggle, because we too much desire independence from Krishna. And therefore, surrender to Krishna runs 180 degrees the opposite. So the solution, we're going to hear some more tomorrow. And tomorrow morning's class is going to be really short by design, because tomorrow is our 32, or some people will chant 64 rounds. We have that experience. Solution is hearing. Well, the message of Bhaktisiddhanta tomorrow morning is, I mentioned it already, so we're hearing it for the second time, we'll hear it again for the third time. The ear is stronger than the mind. Right now, the mind is stronger than anything. The mind carries us wherever. Yantra rudhani mayaya. We're carried on the chariot of the mind. Whatever. We have our legs, but the chariot is the mind. The mind goes, the legs go, we go. The soul goes from one body to the next birth by the chariot of the mind, and when in that body we're being carried on the chariot of the mind. The mind rules. So how to conquer the mind? This inattention or distractedness. It's hearing. So it's hearing, and then when we're chanting, we're hearing. So the emphasis goes not simply to making the sound, but hearing of the sound. And when we're hearing the sound, the mind becomes conquered and attentiveness is taken care of. So I've reduced it to some little sutras. And tomorrow, when we're chanting 32 rounds, depending upon how hot it is, and if you're less bothered by the heat than by your mind, this may help. Just sutra. Stop thinking, start hearing. Or don't space out, hear. Just surrender to the sound vibration of the holy name. Or really simple, please just hear. Not simply chant, but hear. And when that hearing comes, it's right in the song. Then this nama rasa awakens. And when nama rasa awakens, we just want to hear more and more. And anyone that's had the experience of hearing very attentively, you lose track of time and space and, the struggle of the mind. One of the japa retreats that I took part in New Jersey, it's really nice experience afterwards. We chanted 64 rounds. We had the whole day, and pretty much anybody that wanted to had the full opportunity to chant 64 rounds. And at the end, there was some time, I was preparing for the evening class, sitting in a side room. One man just kind of burst in. He didn't even knock and said, came in and said, "Can I come in?" I have to share something with you. He said, I've been around Krishna consciousness for 12 years. And I know the importance of chanting because I always hear it, but I've never chanted more than 4 rounds. And I was thinking, I need to go to one of these gatherings that's going to help me chant more, because I understand more is good, but because it was right here in New Jersey, I can't, it's not a big deal, I can just come. So the laziness was overcome and I came. And I didn't have a big expectation because I know that I'm lazy, and so I was just, let me just sit and try to chant. And when I did like that, without this big expectation, something happened that I've never experienced before. Pause. Said I felt like I was floating in the sound of the holy name. And it was exhilarating. I was just in the air, or like on gentle waves of sound. And it was amazing. I didn't stop I wasn't even thinking to stop for anything, stop for lunch, or I was just floating. This is the most exhilarating feeling. Then something happened. I started thinking about being the enjoyer of that, and then it went away. So then when it went away, I went and had my lunch. And when I came back, I tried getting back into it and couldn't get back into it. So I just surrendered, just said, let me just chant without trying to get a peak experience. And it happened again. And I don't know if it'll ever happen again. And that's okay. I'm surrendered. If Krishna wants, he can do with me whatever he likes. He can give me that experience or whatever he likes. But now I have, my faith in the holy name has increased. I understand Krishna was just being very kind to help me in the association of the devotees that are so focused. I felt strength and support from all the sincere persons. I don't know what their journey was like, but I know that I felt they were very sincere and earnest, and that was nice support. So that's what we're doing when we come together for functions like this. From, literally from way over there and way over there, from Florida to Alaska, and, New England to, Arizona, and places in between. We come from different places to come together for Sangha. And in that Sangha, like an incubation chamber for the experience of the holy name, this awakening of Namarasa. There's messages, scriptural messages from our acharyas that have composed very clear explanations of how to. So there's no lack of how to. It's the application. So let's see, we have a little bit of time. We'll see if there's some discussion on these topics. Yes. Microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, you said that the inattentiveness is a root cause of offense, and that can be overcome by sincerely, genuinely crying out for the names of Rama, Krishna, and Hari.
That's Bhaktivinoda, not me. But yeah,
I mean,
I was the ventriloquist.
Yes. After that, you referred to a Gita verse that those who sincerely, devotedly worship me, I preserve what they have and remove...
And carry what they lack.
Yeah. So, So and later you correlated that will be taken care in the form of attentive chanting. So
Yes. Well,
I-
that's what we do, and then the rest is in Krishna's hand. We strive tirelessly for attentive chanting. And we're dependent upon mercy, but the good news is Krishna is merciful.
Okay.
Does that? It's two things. Our effort and mercy.
Okay. So, in able to receive that mercy, the first step is we have to
We
do
have
it.
to open up our receptacle for mercy. Our mercy receptacle has to open. We have to be eager for it.
Okay.
We can't do it on our own. Fruitive activity consciousness bounces. It doesn't enter into the realm of transcendence. It's another paradigm is required. Effort with eagerness for mercy, and it's not a contradiction.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, thank you for this very important session. Recently we have Devaki Mataji here
Yes,
for spiritual culture seminar.
yes.
It was a very brave seminar.
As well as?
Yeah, it was a brave seminar, I can say.
Okay.
Especially if one want to pursue Krishna consciousness. So, in the same line, I have a question. Like when we change our
From something that she said, you have a question?
No, something
this.
related to this.
Okay.
So when we change our association from materialistic to, devotees,
Yeah.
so now it's not like, the devotees have any, shortcomings. Our karma will get us, all the distress will happens in that association only.
What's going to happen? Our karma?
Our karma will get us like reaction of sin,
I don't know. I don't follow what you're saying. Karma, according to the scriptural teachings, karma is both action and reaction. And the reactions to our actions are dissolved by the power of bhakti. We're not experiencing karma. We're experiencing a growing relationship with Krishna. That's what we're experiencing.
So my question here is, Maharaj, like as the expression goes, offense is the best way of defense.
So
So
that's,
with this-
that's sports
Yeah.
and politics.
Yeah.
But,
So-
that's not our rule
Yeah.
in
No.
spiritual life.
Yes, exactly. So how inattentiveness in chanting can address that? Because people continue to be offensive. I mean, I can take myself for an example.
we go to the clearing stage. Clearing means I'm trying to overcome. I'm trying to overcome that material tendency that's offense. And the root is inattentiveness. So I'm focusing, there's 10 offenses, but the root of those 10 offenses is inattention. So I am focusing on striving for attentiveness. Now here's another one, not to complicate your question, but inattentiveness is strongly connected to maintaining material attachments despite understanding so many instructions in this matter. That's number 9 in that list. You know that one. It's one of the 10 offenses. And when we're attached to asat, our attention goes to asat. Attention goes to the temporary. And managing the temporary, making a plan to enjoy the temporary, making a plan to diminish the misery of the temporary, when we should be absorbed in sat. because we're attached to asat. Happiness is defined by what's outside and how we manage it, as opposed to what's inside. And we all have our challenges of outside. I'll just share one. This came from a teenager just recently. They had ACT exams, and they were so concerned with the ACT score that they were not doing their sadhana properly. And they didn't do well. They didn't do badly, but they didn't do well with their ACT test. And their realization was, because I was absorbed in the external and not in the internal. So, conclusion, if you want to do well in the external, do well in the internal, because what's inside comes out. I can, I'll give one more example. So many examples. Once upon a time, I had a little more freedom, a little more discretionary time. A couple lifetimes ago. And one of the things that I did when I had more discretionary time was I would have devotees do sadhana charts, send me their sadhana chart, and evaluate. How did I do? And not, chanting and reading, and what time you get up, what time you go to bed, and when most of you around are chanting. Like it was not too much, but and the realization, 100%, maybe 30 people said the same thing. There's a one-to-one correlation between how my chanting went this morning and how my day went during the day. I don't need to fill in the rest. It was just a struggle when the morning chanting wasn't done properly. Distracted, disturbed by something. And then the day was really tough. And then consistently, when the chanting was done nicely, reasonably nicely, the day was different. Does that address your question? So it doesn't mean we don't pay attention to things that need attention, but we pay attention to things that need attention, not while we're chanting, because that's distracted chanting. When it's time to pay attention to those things, we pay attention to those things. And when it's time for chanting, it's time for hearing and getting absorbed and bringing our consciousness to Krishna. I like that Michelangelo painting where God is reaching down and touching the dormant hand of Adam, and Adam gets life because of the touch of God. So our consciousness extended to Krishna is life. That's where the life of the soul awakens, and that's where our attentiveness becomes fulfilled. So that's the effort on our side. And when it's time to manage, stuff, we have that consciousness inside that's I'm the servant of Krishna and Krishna will help me, and Krishna helps. He doesn't leave us alone. No way. Okay? Anything else? Yes. Giridhari?
Speaking about the point of enthusiasm being intelligence, endeavoring with intelligence.
You like that?
Yeah. I guess I'm wondering about the point of sharpening the intelligence and how to do that and
study. Krishna says, one who reads or studies the sacred conversation is worshipping me with their intelligence. So the study isn't just information-based, it's I want to understand and connect with Krishna, because understanding Krishna comes from connecting with Krishna. That's sharpening the intelligence. And then Krishna gives the intelligence, then you can understand him.
I have a second part to...
That's it?
Second part.
Second part?
I guess I'm thinking
Somebody that knows how to ask children to not make all that noise can go upstairs. She just went? The herd of turtles is running. Okay, go ahead.
I guess I'm thinking maybe this is an immature understanding of chanting, getting absorbed in chanting, that you kind of forget everything or you lose sight of your intelligence, almost like more like sentimental chanting, where you're getting absorbed or something, but the intelligence might not still be acting, maybe like an immature concept.
Yeah, that's you got the right word. It's not a mature understanding of what active intelligence is. Active intelligence is how to reach Krishna. I mean, supposing your dhoti's on fire. Active intelligence is you would put the fire out while you're chanting, and not just, I'm going to chant. So, there's practical. It's practical. It's dealing with the outside world, but, not with distraction, with practical. We have the fans on and the ceiling fans. And 3 out of the 4 lights are working. Isn't that great? Maybe Jitendra will get the other light repaired. Hey, Monkey? Our overworked and underpaid Jitendra, maybe he can take care of the light that's not on? Yeah? Okay. It's practical. Intelligence is practical for the purpose of reaching Krishna. So the mind needs to be directed by the intelligence. That's an activity. And my dear mind, manashiksha, instructing the mind. That's the intelligence. And intelligence is coming from Supersoul for that person who wants to reach him. And so it's practical. Spiritual doesn't mean impractical, or practical doesn't mean non-spiritual. Does that help? Or that's not what you're asking?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay. Okay. We're ready for whatever the next thing is.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so I think next we'll just have a short, I believe is it an audio clip or video clip? PowerPoint with audio. And this is a presentation that was actually put together by the devotees in China. So it's just very nice to note that the holy name is being spread far and wide, and there's a lot of outreach and many devotees coming in touch with Krishna consciousness in China. And so they've put together a nice presentation singing the glories of the holy name, from what I understand, in a more traditional Chinese style. So that'll be nice. And then after that, we will have the Nam Yagya, and that will go until 8 o'clock. And just a reminder, prasadam will be served in the basement, not upstairs. That'll be at 8 o'clock. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
This is the instrument that they have used. I think we pronounce it as zither. And it's one of the Chinese instruments that mainly have used for this presentation. So,
Simply by chanting one one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit.
Nam no hiyawa ti shakti apanirhara mehari tavat kartu nakshapnoti atakampata kinara.
Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. If one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of his sinful life depart, just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear. By once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of the two syllables Ha-ri, one guarantees his path to liberation.
nobody.
The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife or of his guru or another superior.
Sarishamapya idameva sumishpita namavyaharanam Vishnu yatastapisha yamati.
It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection.
Sankitiya prarihasyamva Stobhavahyava namivava Vaikuntanamahana Ashishakaha Randitu.
One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly, to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the Scriptures.
Gurunam cha lakunam cha Guruni cha lakuni cha Prayashchitami papana Gyatotani imasi.
Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
That was very nice. So we'll have nami again now. So we'll just be setting up the kirtan here. And if for those who are attending the nami yagya, just one thing to keep in mind is that the kirtan becomes very powerful when everybody that's present is focused. So when we all sit here for doing kirtan, we can all sit very close and we can all put our same attention towards the goal of chanting with attentiveness and with sincerity for the pleasure of Krishna. So we'll just be setting up the kirtan here, and then we can